All right, we should be live on all streaming services across the nation. Twitch and YouTube, not Facebook. We're not hip. We're not hip on Facebook yet. That's fine. We'll get there someday. But for now, we are CAMEOS. We are talking through. All right, we should be two things today, right? So we got a dual cast. All right, so CAMEOS, we're really stretching the acronym today. We've got cinema, we've got anime, we've got manga, and we have everything else. As always, I am O'Shaughnessy here with my co-host, partner in crime, Samson, the one and only.
Bing bong.
Sup? Today, as I said, we're talking through two things. We've got Jujutsu Kaisen movie. We just dropped. Sam and I saw it last week. We definitely want to hit on that. And then we're going to touch on some Moon Knight. We're not going to call them reactions, but impressions, deep dive analysis, but not really. But we definitely want to talk about Moon Knight too, because I think we're both really excited about that. But to kick it off, let's talk Jujutsu Kaisen Movie 0, this precursor film to the anime. If you haven't watched it, it is great, Derek. It's a good anime, and you should get hip. It's not just another shonen. It's good. I mean, I know there's a lot of anime out there, and you get the fanatics, the purists saying that it's just not as good as it used to be. And while I can respect that to a certain extent, I think there's a lot of good anime out there that if you're just willing to give it a chance, there's a lot of new things that artists are trying that they just didn't do before. But Sam, why don't you officially kick it off and tell us a little bit about the movie, and then we can dive in.
Okay, so the movie follows the how do you say it? It's like the prequel manga to the main story of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Episode 0.
Yeah, episode 0. So those
Chapter
the second
0.
years that you see in the main story. So there's a Unamaki Toge, this cursed speech user, Panda, the panda, and then Zenin Maki, the cursed tool wielder. Those are the main characters in the movie, along with someone you don't see. He's like away doing missions, Akosu Yuta. That's the main character of the prequel, and the movie is just an adaptation of the manga. It's like 100% exact.
1-to-1.
Yeah, 1-to-1 with like, it's like 1-to-1 with a little like sazon on there, a little seasoning.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just a little.
They gotta
seasoning
jazz it up. Yeah, for the not live action, but for the animated adaptations, they always gotta do a little bit of flair because things don't translate 1-to-1. All right, so we've got a new main protagonist in here in Akotsu Yuta. Yuji is not in this movie at all.
He's not a student, and he doesn't have the. This is before he eats the curse finger. So it's before all that stuff happened.
Okay.
Literally a year before, actually. Like a year exactly.
And I'm actually going back through the anime right now. I'm rewatching it. This movie just kind of made me want to go back and refresh. You actually do get to see Yuta just briefly. Gojo is talking about his favorite students. One of them's a third year and one of them's a second year in the anime. And you see like a really quick snippet of Yuta in the anime. Yes. So for anybody who's watching the anime, you do see like a second of him, but he's not actually in the show. We did touch on the fact that it is 100% canon. This is not an offshoot. This isn't a movie that they're not pulling like a One Piece here and just throwing in some random stuff that doesn't actually impact the world. But
nothing. It's not like canon information. Everything that is there is 100% canon. Even the sazon added on top.
The sazon, yeah. So let's talk about that, because these movies usually have like elevated power levels and things going crazy, and they're pulling out moves that never happened before. But we see our main character here is a pretty powerful dude. Yuta's pulling out some jutsus that are of a different caliber than I think we see, you know, at the beginning of Jujutsu Kaisen the anime. It's I won't say it's grounded because dude is literally like heaving one of those balls that they throw in track and field. What's that called? The shot put.
Shot put.
Yeah, in the first episode, he throws it like 100 meters, and that's just like what he can do. So I'm not gonna call it grounded, but he definitely gets like his ass beat time and time again. And the first episodes are very much to like, hey, these are just students that they're getting their shit together. They're not good yet. But in this movie, Yuta, it seems to be on like a whole nother level.
Yeah, he has more curse energy than Gojo does.
Really?
So he's
More than Gojo.
he's like he's really strong. So the movie is and the manga is just him learning, you know, more about curse energy and what he can do. The like, what do you call them? The old guard in the Jujutsu world is trying to kill him because he's like he has an unregistered special grade curse on his shoulder at all times. There's a bunch going on.
Yeah.
And then Gojo likes to keep these special grades around because he thinks they're the future of the Jujutsu world. So
right. Yeah, he has
it
a
follows
similar
him and he learns.
Similar concept to like why he kept Yuji around. They wanted to execute him, but he was like, nah, we have to up our ranks. We got to keep up.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a couple things before we dig into our thoughts on the movie. You know, I think we definitely know the inspiration. So this was created prior to the rest of the anime. This whole storyline was really fleshed out prior to the rest of the anime being where it's at today, and the manga obviously being way further than that. Yeah, so when do we see Yuta again? I think that's really the only other thing I want to touch on is like we know he's canon, we know he's coming back, but you know, how far out are we?
You probably won't see Yuta till like the end of season 3, honestly.
Wow.
He'll probably come in the end of season 3 because he does something in the manga, but that's probably going to start the season 4. Because he's very important in the manga right now, and that's where you see all of his powers and abilities. So everything that you see him do in the movie, it's also in the prequel.
Sure.
But you don't get like the full extent of what he can do until current day in the manga. So it's going to be a minute before you actually get to really see what this man can do.
Reacquaint.
He's like really a problem.
Okay. Yeah,
he's like my favorite character right now.
He was really a problem in the movie. I mean,
that was light. He didn't even know what he was doing, and now he knows what he's doing.
When they shut it off, like they were gonna close the movie out with him dying, I was like, yeah, that seems appropriate. Like he just seems way overpowered. So I think the idea of sending him off for a while is a good thing, just because he was operating on a different caliber than the rest of our characters in the show right now, which is as far as I've gotten, and I think as far as a lot of other people have gotten. All right, let's talk about our feelings on the movie. You know, you and I just saw it last week. You've seen it at least twice now.
Twice. Yeah, I loved it. So
yeah,
but I know for a lot of people it's kind of slow. But I love like when adaptations follow the source exactly. So this followed the source exactly, and then they threw in like that whole Shinjuku fight scene where Gojo's fighting the black dude, and unfortunately the black dude got rocked, so that hurt a little bit. But that none of that is like in the manga, right?
How
none
is
of that
anybody gonna beat him? Like he's so far and above everybody. If he got beat by some random dude in the movie, that would not have played with a special rope. I know. We just had a cutaway, and then we cut back, and he's like, "Oh, my rope is almost all gone." And I was like, "That's the extent of your power. Like once your rope is gone, you're done."
He's getting rocked. It hurt my spirit.
Yeah, it was a cool fight, though. I mean, animation quality wise, like Chef's Kiss, that was some of the best stuff I think we've seen maybe since Demon Slayer, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, Mappa
Excuse
was
me.
Mappa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mappa did that. They do a great job. Everything they do.
Yeah, yeah.
So I love watching
I
their
went
stuff.
back in the anime um quality. The quality of the fights is pretty good, but other than that,
Hmm.
it's pretty average tier drawn anime, like quality wise.
Hmm.
Um, they definitely I appreciated the effort that they put into that. Talking a little bit about the story, couple things that stuck out to me. First off, very early into the movie, we get reintroduced to our second year students who are first year students in this movie, as you talked about, Panda, Unamaki, and Zenin Maki.
Hmm.
They touched on this in the anime, and then they reintroduced it here again about Panda not having a backstory or an origin story at all. And it seems to be like a running joke. And I'm wondering if with where you're at in the manga,
Yeah.
is that still a running joke, or do they give him any explanation for why there's just a giant panda going to this school?
No, they fully explain exactly what Panda is. Like, I mean, and they explain he's a cursed doll, but
Uh-huh.
you don't know where he came from, how he was made. But they explain it later in the manga exactly where he came from and how he was made and why he's there.
Okay. Yeah,
So
because
it gets explained
they
fully.
did that deep dive on the robot dude, the third year. Like they gave him a
Yes.
lot of attention. And
Yes.
I just thought they would do something similar for the giant talking panda who can go like Bankai and like
Mm.
it's kind of wild. All right, that's good to know though. Something to look
Yeah.
forward to for a little bit more backstory for Mr. Panda.
That's probably
Um,
another season 3, season 4 uh
that's wild.
explanation.
So we have a whole arc, you're saying, before a lot of this stuff pays
No, you
off.
have multiple arcs
Oh.
before. There's a lot that happens in the manga.
All right.
You got
All
like
right, good
multiple
to know.
arcs
It's good. That's
before you get
good.
to that.
I'm looking forward to it because there's not a ton that I'm watching right now. When My Hero is not on, I gave up on watching One Piece a long time ago. So
Mm.
yeah, it's like this Mob Psycho and My Hero
Mm.
are the only ones that I get excited about, and I'll tune in to catch other things every now and then. But yeah, this is the only one that I'm actually pumped for. All right, going back to the story for a second. The age thing, I don't know how you feel about this, but the age thing was weird to me. How, we have the whole plot point of this movie is that when he was a kid,
Mm.
Yuta had a friend, then he was in the hospital, and his friend got hit by a car, and they were like really
Mm.
close. They were really, really tight. She died. Turns out he placed a curse on her that basically like kept her alive as this demon on his shoulder, which is basically what's giving him his power throughout the whole movie.
Mm.
But it was the little girl the whole time. Like she was this powerful curse that he put on her and then used as a weapon by accident. But I don't know. To me, when the big reveal came at the end that like him saying like, I give up, we're done now, was the way he broke the curse, and then it like washes away, and it's the 6-year-old girl, and at this point he's like 15, 16 years old. I feel like they should have aged her up a little bit. I feel like there was no reason why she couldn't have been 15 or 16 as well. I mean, they were the same age when they were kids. I get it.
Mhm.
Like, it might take, I don't know. I feel like they could have creatively aged her up.
Yeah,
And
but I mean, it's she died at 6, so that's how her
I get
spirit
it.
form always
I get
looks.
it.
It
But
will
what
always look like
makes it
that.
weirder is the fact that he kisses her to like release the power.
Yeah, but he kissed the curse, right?
The curse
So
is the 6-year-old girl.
it's not the curse is his power, and I can't explain more without like spoiling a whole a whole like arc in the manga. But like essentially it's not Rika's not just uh the spirit of the girl, it's also his power. So when he cursed her, he created the curse spirit, and then they kind of overlap. So when it went away, that part doesn't actually go away. This is the best, easiest way I can explain it without further telling you about his abilities.
Okay. So there's some kind of canon explanation for why she was stuck as a 6-year-old and she couldn't age.
No, not stuck as a 6-year-old. She was stuck as a 6-year-old because she died at 6 years old. So that's how her spirits always look. Remember, like in Bleach, their spirits look the same from when they pass.
Why do you have to kiss her? Why did he have to kiss her?
He didn't kiss her. He kissed the curse.
It had her voice. It was her voice. It was her rage.
But she had no control over that. She was like anchored to the curse.
She had no control over him kissing her either, because she was 6 and he's like 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah, but he just don't think of it that way. Just think of him. He kissed the cursed spirit.
That part was so weird. I literally cringed. I was like, oh God, why is he? And like when he's kissing the curse, it like the curse, for those who haven't seen the movie or aren't gonna see it, it's like this big abomination looking thing with like teeth that are as big as a person. And then like there's like this touching moment, like right when he's about to have his big finale, where like he leans in and he's just like gonna kiss her fang. Like,
yes.
All right, I'm shitting on the movie. I gotta say, I had a great time. It was very, very good. I agree with you, Mappa. Great animation studio. Some top tier fights. Although I really wish the fights had been longer. Going back to your point about it being a little slow, I wish there was more payoff for some of that buildup. I liked the background and storytelling. I thought it was really cool. We got to see the second years as first years. More Gojo being Gojo. But man, the fights just were like open and shut. We didn't even get to see him wash the floor with Panda and Unamaki Toge, the curse speech user. Panda fought him for a second. They're squared up. And then they cut away, cut back, and both of them are just laying on the ground. I was like, come on, that's like, I mean, but I guess the whole point is to just show that like they were totally outclassed. Yeah. I know we can't get into this without getting into too heavy spoilers for the manga, but I really need to understand Geto's power, because like he seems like he should be weak physically, because his whole thing is about absorbing curses and then just like letting them go and fight for him. Like, he's like the cursed Pokemon user, but he's got like Panda like punched his head down and he like compressed his spine, and then he's back up and fine.
He said fall down. He said plummet.
You're right.
Yeah, he said plummet, and it happened. But so
I don't know
if curse users.
I'm
not gonna spoil it. But like I always look at like Jujutsu as like, you know how in Hunter x Hunter where they fight with Nen, and like people fight in an intelligent way and they expect you to do one thing. So essentially that's what like Geto, people expect him to not be able to fight in close range. So they close the distance expecting him to be weak because he's a cursed spirit user, and then he's not because he knows what people are expecting. That's all it is. And then I won't explain like his power or anything that you see in
there's clearly more anime to it.
No, for that, that's literally all it is. He's not a weak close range fighter. He can actually fight for real. There'll be an arc where they show like,
I just hope they don't pull Gojo like a Madara Uchiha thing and just he's got all the powers. Like he's invincible because he's invincible. And it's like, all right, well, like the thing that I liked about Naruto and Hunter x Hunter is like when they like ground the powers and they're like, here's the limits and like here's what they can do. So I'll take your word for it. I
he's
hope
grounded.
It ends up
don't
being
worry.
Good. All right,
it's really good.
All right,
he just knows how to fight.
All right, it was cool. Really good. What fighting there was good. I'd be excited for it. This was a good first entry, I think, for this like movie. You know, like more Jujutsu movies after this would be dope.
I feel like they might make there's like a arc that talks about Gojo's past and Geto's past. That might be a movie. I feel like that would be a good idea to do a movie. It'd probably be easier. So, and it would like, let's say season 2 comes out, that arc should come like right after season 2.
Do like a Mugen Train kind of thing, like Demon Slayer, and just pack it all in there.
Yeah, but I just hope they don't remake it and put
as a 7-episode thing for some reason, and just put the episodes back out there with some filler in to waste some time. Yeah, I do agree.
As long as they don't do that.
Demon Slayer does a lot of right things, but that was a weird move.
It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be cool. Supplemental content in the form of these movies. We've seen it with My Hero, like that stuff being canon sometimes.
No, it's all canon.
All the My Hero movies are canon.
Oh, sorry, you said the movies. Oh, my bad. No,
Yeah. I'm talking
movies
about
movies are not. My bad.
Other franchises that are adopting this, like, okay, go see the movie if you want to be caught up on the story kind of thing. They definitely.
Yeah, but I'll say a lot of times it's hard. I think only Jujutsu and Demon Slayer have done that 100%.
Well, let's say like Demon Slayer didn't do it 100% because they went and re-released their stuff as episodes.
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was weird.
They like put one foot in, one foot out.
But I'll say like what most things do, like let's say One Piece, for example, the movies aren't canon, but specific things in the movies are canon.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let's say Strong World. Golden Line Shiki is a canon character, but the stuff that happened between Golden Line Shiki and Luffy is not a canon story. That doesn't take place in the actual.
I'm aware of that
universe.
one tie-in from
Stuff
all
like
of the One Piece movies is they reference that character after the fact, and that was like a recent thing that they did, right?
Yeah, because he's like important to that age. So that's what I don't think My Hero does that, but I don't think Jujutsu would do that either. I think it seems like the new wave is to just make an entire arc a movie, but it's hard to do that because they don't release things in Japan at the same time they release it here, right? So, or other countries. So you got an entire nation of fans that would be behind if they started making a bunch of movies that were like canon content, especially if the canon content is like current. But I think it's good to like use like an arc and then make it a canon movie.
Well, they did that with Skypiea arc, right? Like One Piece went back and made that a movie.
They did that later, yeah. Yeah, they did that later.
Just to get you
with
caught
better
up.
art.
Have they done it with anything else in One Piece or otherwise? Going back, consolidating, and then re-releasing to make it more accessible?
Trying to think. No, I think only One Piece does that because One Piece is extra long. So I would assume going forward, like for
sorry,
Jujutsu,
there's 1,000 episodes. Here's 150 less. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. But I would expect Jujutsu to take that route. It's a good way to give people a bunch of content, but also.
How far are we in the manga right now? Jujutsu, like what chapter roughly? We in the hundreds?
300
something.
So. Let me actually check.
I didn't realize we were that deep. I thought this was a relatively new one.
No, it's oh, sorry. I'm wrong. It's 180.
Okay, so we're still approaching 200.
Yeah. And then there's a break this week. So it is what it is.
Some comments from chat saying their favorite anime movies are Sailor Moon Eternal and Dragon Moon X. So I don't know if I ever want to see a Dragon Moon X movie.
Both of those are not something either of us is going to watch.
My search history actually probably makes Dragon Moon X look tame by comparison, to be honest. Like it's been a slippery slope. All right. So one thing that I found interesting that I wanted to talk to you about, just because I like the industry. Best anime studio movies. How does this one stack up, like compared to other ones? You know, this is something we're starting to see more of after the success of the Dragon Ball Super films. Where do you think this one stands? I mean, you don't have to put it on an exact scale, but like, how does this stack up against some of the greats?
Well, what are the greats first?
Tell me, what are the greats?
For me, like I want to go like I love the Dragon Ball Super Broly film. That's like top tier. Like it's canon. The fights are amazing.
I guess those Dragon Ball movies sort of did the same thing too, right? Where they come out with a movie and then they go and just retell it in anime form, but different. But anyway, I'm getting off topic.
The Super movies do.
Yes. Yes.
But so that's why the super movies are. I love the super movies, and they all look good.
Okay,
And then,
so those are like top tier things. How close
Yeah.
is this movie to those quality wise, just across
for
the
me,
board?
it's close for me because again,
Mm.
like I said, it's canon. Everything in this movie is canon, with like some extra to fill in gaps, for things they say in the anime, so you have a better
Hmm.
understanding what happened. So for me, it's up there with the super movies.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I'll probably place it a little bit lower. Honestly, I do agree with you that I think the super movies are like top tier. I think Toei puts a ton of money into making those look really good. The Broly movie is probably the first time I've seen like good CG like mixed in.
Hmm.
I mean, I know it's been done before and it's been done to good effect in some places, but like there were entire fight scenes that were in CG where I had to like stop and really look to even tell that it was CG, and I was like, damn, this is just really good CG, which is good to see because it's way cheaper to make and they can do more with it. It's more flexible. It doesn't take nearly as long. Um, this falls a little short of that to me because, as you said, it was a little bit slower. There wasn't as much action. When I go to see an anime movie, I'm not going to watch like Kids on the Slope, the movie. I don't think I ever would. I want to see like fighting. I want to see the artists like flex their skill in this. You know what I mean? Like you don't go to a movie for just anything. I mean, I know you go to see a lot of movies, but it's more of an event for me, and I want it to be like a spectacle. It was a better storytelling thing than I think I was expecting, which was a nice change. I did a little bit of digging. You have any idea how successful this was in the box office so far? Any
What, like
guesses?
gross?
Yeah,
How
like
much
if
it
you had
gross?
to put it up there and be like, oh, it probably made more or less than,
Oh,
you
I think
know.
it definitely made more. But how much more is a question?
So like if I were to say this to which do you think made more money so far? This movie or My Hero? What was the last one that Heroes Rising? I think Heroes Rising was the last one that I saw. There was another one
Uh,
last year that I don't think
yeah, there was
is
another one during COVID. So if you count the one during COVID, definitely Jujutsu made more. Am I wrong?
World Heroes Mission came out last year.
I need to watch it. Actually,
I
I did
don't
not
think
watch
I've
that.
seen that. Did that get a US release?
I'm pretty sure it did.
I didn't see it. I saw Heroes Rising. Um,
Okay.
okay. So Jujutsu Kaisen definitely made more than Heroes Rising, which was the one where they're on the island and they fight Nine, the dude that had a really unoriginal power. What do you think made more, Jujutsu or Resurrection F?
Resurrection F.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you where this stands at the end, and I think it's gonna surprise you. All right, how about Jujutsu or Broly? What we were just talking about.
Broly.
I think Broly made more.
Yeah.
And then Jujutsu or Mugen Train, the Demon Slayer movie.
Jujutsu.
Okay. I got some surprising news. So Jujutsu Kaisen right now, I think it's still out in theaters, but it's sitting around 150 million dollars gross. Heroes Rising and World Heroes Mission, the two My Hero movies that have come out in the past 2 years, both of those have hit somewhere around 40 mil a piece. Looks like World Heroes did a little better, close to 50. All right, so yeah, Jujutsu easily did more it had way more success than those. But Resurrection F grossed 61 million. So
I'm shocked.
Like a third. And Brawly only did like 115, maybe 120.
I'm shocked. I figured like Latin American countries love Dragon Ball Super.
I
It's
would
like
have
an
assumed
event,
it's a
so
way
it's
more
like,
known
they're
IP.
gonna-
Like
It is.
yeah. I don't know if the timing with this one like really helped out with it being like the end of COVID, which made this one so successful. But yeah, it pretty handedly beat both of those movies, and this movie's still out, so it'll get some more. You
Yeah, I'm
thought
shocked.
you thought that Jujutsu made more than Demon Slayer?
Yeah,
Demon Slayer is right now the most successful anime movie of all time, with a
at how
worldwide
much?
gross of $500 million.
That's until One Piece film Red comes out. So good luck.
Mugen Train, Mugen Train, like easily beats out the next closest anime movie, which is Spirited Away, by over $100 million. So like Mugen Train,
That's fine. Spirit Away hasn't been out for like 20 years, so
no, Spirited Away
it's
is in second. It's
you
like,
don't know what I'm saying. That's 20 years old, is what I'm saying.
yeah, but I guess I don't know. Miyazaki films, I would have just assumed would gross more than Demon Slayer. It's like I know a lot of people that don't even watch Demon Slayer.
Yeah, but if Miyazaki films weren't in theaters when we were what 20 years younger, right?
Yeah,
So
I mean it's a
there was no
totally
us
different type
going
of
to the
movie,
theater.
but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now they're in theaters now. Like they bring back Ghibli films, so you can watch them.
mhm.
Uh, I think like Regal does it, but I would expect like anything new to probably do a lot better.
Jujutsu Kaisen is currently sitting at number 12 of all time, with
Mm.
a bunch of Miyazaki films being ahead of it, as well as the Pokemon movie.
Don't count Pokemon
And
as we shouldn't even count Pokemon.
these are all oh, and then Your Name, which is that Japanese romantic film that came out a while ago.
Okay.
But yeah, Pokemon is still sitting pretty comfortably in like the middle there at number 8. Jujutsu Kaisen though, dude, this movie just came out.
It just came out during COVID, also. So we'll see what happens.
There's
We'll see
nothing
what
even
happens later.
close to Demon Slayer, the Mugen Train, though,
For
which
now.
is wild to me. And I know you
For
think
now.
that One Piece is going to come in and steal the
One
show,
Piece,
but
yes,
there's
One Piece
not
film
even a
Red is
One
going to
Piece
steal
movie
everything.
in 24. One Piece
Listen,
Stampede, 93
I've told
million
you-
bucks.
I told you before, One Piece has been trending worldwide for the past 4 weeks now. So when One Piece film Red comes out, I expect it's going to break some things.
All right, what's the release date on Film Red? What's the box
It's-
office breaker?
It's way down the line. Plus, Toy got hacked. I don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
but we'll see. Well, don't worry. When that time comes, we'll definitely talk about it. And then we can
We'll do a
debate and-
breakdown on that too,
Yeah,
and
we'll
definitely
break
a
down.
breakdown on the next Dragon Ball Z movie. I think, if you guys are interested, we'll definitely keep breaking down the anime movies because they're getting good. They are good and they're getting better. So yeah. All right, cool. Well, we're gonna close out this segment here. We are not done here yet, but I think as far as Jujutsu goes, we've said all there is to say. Go see it. It is a great film. You
Really
don't
good.
have to watch the anime first.
You don't, but I will say this: Japan does not care if you're an anime only watcher. They're manga spoilers in the movie.
There is 100% reason to watch the anime
Yes.
first, just so
And
that you
even
get
if
to
you
know
do-
those characters. But if you don't worry about it.
No, even if you do, they're random characters that you don't know who they are unless you read the manga.
Yeah.
So I just keep that in mind. There are a little bit of spoilers in there.
All right. So next up, let's spend some time in the MCU.
I was talking about this jackal.
We have to get onto the star of the show here, the Jackal Fighter. I just hope he fights a jackal in every episode. That's like the big bad guy is just the Jackal. Ethan Hawke's character is just not even in the show. All right, so Moon Knight started last week. I think we both really liked it. We haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah.
We were
At
holding
all.
our discussion for today. So I kind of know what your feelings are on it, but I'm really curious to dig in and find out a little bit more about what you thought about it. Um, yeah, definitely watch that anime for Jujutsu if you can first. All right, Moon Knight on deck. So, just a quick synopsis of what went down in that first episode. Basically, we open up with Mr. Dr. Harrow, played by Ethan Hawke, pouring some glass into his shoe, right? And right off the bat, you know that this is like a totally different dark direction. Like this opening where he pours the glass into his shoe, slowly slips the shoes on, and you can just like hear the crunching as he walks through. I was like, Nicole literally couldn't even watch it. Like she was like, oh God, just tell me when it's over. I thought that was awesome. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that scene was like, all right, I was in. I was like, I loved it because of how dark it set. Like I knew that they weren't gonna be pulling any punches in this. Like you gotta up your Disney Plus maturity rating to get hip. Yeah. What'd you think
about that scene specifically?
About the opening?
To me, I was like, what is he doing? I didn't know who it was at first. Yeah. So I was like, this is weird. But okay.
I definitely thought I like where we're going. Gonna be Moon Knight to open it up.
I did too, and it wasn't. So I was like, okay, all right. So let's see what's going on here.
Yeah.
But I love the Punisher and Daredevil, so I love that dark stuff.
Yeah, this was definitely an awesome.
So I was like, all right, let's go.
I didn't cringe, but I was like shocked. I was surprised that they started it off like that. I was like, oh my God, like anybody just trying to like, oh, I heard Guardians of the Galaxy is a fun movie, and then they see like some dude like stepping on glass. I'm like, oh God, like the tonally completely different. And it's just awesome that I think they're like doubling down into the like pulling in those Netflix and they're calling all those canon, by the way. Those are all, that's officially all on board now. How they're going to incorporate some of those things might be some multiverse shenanigans, but
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we know Charlie Cox is in it, Fisk, and according to Marvel, that's all considered canon. But yeah, that bringing us back to Moon Knight. Love it. Love the dark tone. I'm here for it. So after we get that scene, we pretty much go right over to Steven. I already don't remember his last name. Doesn't matter. It's not his real name anyway. Steven and his Stevie, late to skaters. What they call him. Stevie. It's Steven. Right into him and his disorder, and we like right off the bat get to see the struggles that he's going through with that, chaining himself to his bed, trying to make sure that he's not going anywhere in the middle of the night.
I really appreciated all that stuff.
I thought all of those, he went through. All of that attention to detail, pouring the sand around the bed, and like they took the time in the episode to like show you that this sucks. You know what I mean? Like he's going through some shit. And
everything he has to do to make sure that he's not moving around and doing random things throughout the day.
We get like a whole montage. Our first glimpse of this character is a montage of how much his life sucks. Like it's like wake up, unchain myself from my bed, check the sand, feed my depressed one-finned goldfish, and unlock the 7 deadbolts on my lock, and and remove the tape from the door. There were so many little details like that. And we get to see throughout this like introduction to Steven that he does not have his shit together. Like, despite him trying to, he's like disheveled. He's sleeping on the bus. He's like late. He's like very soft spoken, can't get his way. He's got an absolute Karen of a boss who just walks all over him.
And he can't live his passion, which is very clearly like, this history. And you also see him at work.
That one line where it was like, if this is you trying to get a job as a guide at the museum, it's not going to work. It's never going to happen. And he's just like, well, that was soul crushing, but no, like they do it in a very Marvel way. They make it fun. But yeah, he was you're not supposed to be like, yeah, this is the next Captain America. Like, you're like, oh god, this guy looks like he's gonna like flush his fucking shoe in the toilet or something like that. Like, he didn't.
His life sucks.
Yeah.
He has no friends. The only date he got, he didn't know he had it. He's talking to street performers.
And
leaving
so
them,
after he leaves work, he gets he gets completely decimated at his a normal day at work for Stevie. I guess we're led to believe, like, God, why anybody would continue going back there day after day, I have no idea. But he leaves there. The next scene, we see him talking to Mr. Mime, complete gold plated street performer, and he's just like spilling his guts. We get a little bit of what's the word there, exposition, where he's just like, hey, like, you know, audience, if you didn't know, this is what's going on and I'm not happy about it. That character is confirmed to be like a reoccurring dude. We dig into that a little bit later, but he's not just like a passing, you know, bit.
He's not a passing random guy.
He actually ties into Moon Knight's like cohort of friends or whatever you want to call him. But yeah, he ends up being a street informant, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it was fine, you know. Where do we see him go after that? I think the next night we get another montage of him going through trying to stay awake so that he doesn't go wandering off, as people are saying, Cinderella. Yeah, so he stays up all night, and
stays up.
Yeah, until he doesn't. And then that brings us to another scene that I love just because it was so un-Disney like, where he's like, we get dude laying down in a field and his jaw is broken. He's wearing completely different clothes. It was like a hard cut. Like, he was trying to stay awake, and then boom, he's in a field and his jaw is like misaligned. It was another thing where Nicole was like, I can't watch this. It was like so messed up, but I loved it. I love that stuff. This gives me hope that they're going to do Deadpool right, and they're not going to pull their punches with that. And they'll lean into the character. Right. Big long action sequence, you know, our dude gets chased down. He's in the middle of a firefight, runs into the bad guy for the first time, who's like doing a seance, casting a spell on some villagers, deeming them worthy or unworthy. Mark is like, or not Mark, Steven is like, what is going on here? We hear the god talking to him for the first time, just cool. I don't know how I feel about the god's voice just yet.
Yeah, I don't like his voice.
It's a little too on the nose, like comic booky, like as dark as they go with some of the other things. I was kind of surprised they were like, oh no, the idiot's back. And I was like, okay, it was a little, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I don't like the voice at all.
Yeah.
But I do like how through all these sequences, you know, how he's trying to give the beetle back, and then his body's taken over, and then he's fighting, and then all of a sudden he blacks out, then he wakes back up, and then everyone's on the ground. I love how they did all of that, right? You don't ever see him actually do anything. You just see the aftermath.
Right.
For what Mark has done.
Yes, those hard cuts away were really well done. I think we might be alone in not liking the voice. Some of our fans are saying that they appreciated the voice. Cool. Well, that's good. I'm glad that we're in a minority then.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, but the whole thing of like him not being in control of his body is like they're throwing stuff at you fast, where they're like, okay, he's clearly got a whole nother life going on. Those cuts in and out, oh my god, that was so good when he like blacks out and then he's woken up around the bodies surrounding him, steals the cupcake van, starts playing Wham at max volume,
and then it keeps cutting in and out.
It was so
I love
well
all
done.
of that. Yeah,
I think that was all really well done. He's just like killing people along the way.
And I think it's a good way to, because I think we talked about it, or at least we talked about it amongst each other, of how like we want to see the dissociative identity disorder that he has, and like we also want action. I think we got a good mix of both. Like we got implied action, right? You know, there's action
Yes.
in here that happened in some way, but you get
Yeah.
the true story of how he's struggling with this disorder.
I
I love that.
am of a thinking that they are going to spend a good portion, if not the entire second episode, filling in those gaps. I have a feeling we're going to be going back and looking at things from the other perspective, who we learn later in the show. His name is Mark. Basically the guy who does have his stuff together, knows how to use a gun and not just throw it at a car. It's like, what? Like, of all the things you could do. But oh man, I really, really liked Oscar Isaac's performance in this whole thing of like, he seemed confused when he was like snapping out of it. Like, I believed that he had no idea where he was. So I know that was one of the things we talked about last time. I was a little concerned that Oscar Isaac wasn't going to be used well, but I listened to some interviews. He was really excited about doing this like thing that really explored, you know, what it would be like to have multiple personalities. And one of them is a guy that made a deal with an Egyptian god and is a mercenary. And yeah, so that was cool. Very well done. Very well played.
Yeah, very well done.
So
very well acted too. Yes, yeah. Oscar Isaac is an amazing actor.
Yeah, chef's kiss. I'm so excited. This is really good. So glad that he ended up being good. Yeah, the pacing between everything was great, and then that comes right up to where Stephen / Mark / Egyptian god, whose name is Khonshu, comes in and is about to get run over by a truck that he had like flipped over earlier in the car chase, and then boom, he's like back awake in his apartment again. He thinks the whole thing's a dream until he doesn't.
Yeah, then he starts to see
fish has grown a fin.
Right, his fish grew a fin. He goes to the store. She said, "You've been here before," and he starts to see, oh, it's 7 p.m. I gotta go take my date.
Oh man, that dream was like, really bad.
Yeah, nah, this is 2 days. You missed a lot of time. He
stood up your favorite cast member of this episode, the hot museum biddy. She Dylan, tells him that it's
whatever her name is
2 days, so he lost 2 full days, and at that point he's just like, that sucks.
I'm not a vegan anymore.
Let me get some well done steak for my
that actually bothered me.
I thought that was really funny. I thought that was really funny where the waiter was like, what kind of cut do you want? And he's like, the best one. And he's like, okay, center cut. And it was like, how would you like that? And he was like, oh yeah, very good. Very good. And he's like, well done. Got it.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I'm going to bring you something you're not going to know any better, but that was a funny little nod.
And I was not bothered by the goldfish in the blender because I figured he didn't have anything else big enough to hold his fish. So he had to put it in the blender.
Oh yeah, people are saying, I mean, I definitely noticed that, and I was like, oh god, are they gonna do something with this where he's gonna accidentally like blend the fish? Fortunately, no goldfish were harmed in the making of Moon Knight episode 1 that we know of. So let's see.
One had to have been harmed, right? Because he had a new fish. He had a brand new fish. So at least one was harmed.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that for the sake of filming it, they like, you know, were killing goldfish. Anyway, after that date, he goes back to his apartment, and at this point, he's accepted that something's not right, and he's bummed about it. He's like stuffing his face with chocolates, and I think it was at that point that he sees some little mystery.
He saw the scratches on the floor.
And then he sees he's got a little cubby thing that he has no idea anything about. So he climbs up there, finds a cell phone. There was some nice little imagery play on the visuals where like the cutout was in the shape of a triangle. I think there's a lot of triangle imagery like sprinkled in through here, but that one definitely stuck out. So he finds a cell phone. He calls Layla, I think was the name on the phone, or she calls him right as he picks it up. And then that's when he finds out like the other persona definitely has a full-on other life. It's using his stuff. And then we hear the voice right after that, see him standing in the mirror, for some reason the apartment starts shaking and the lights start going out. I'm not sure if they're gonna explain that off as like part of his delusions, or if that's going to be part of the power of this who we're about to see, like bird god thing that is Khonshu. Yeah. So I don't really understand the shaking the apartment stuff, other than just to make it scary and feel that there was some urgency to get him out of that apartment. What did you think about that first reveal of Khonshu, though? Like when he's coming down the hallway, you get to see the full-on
how he looks
spectacle.
I just was wondering, why don't you just tell him what's going on? Like they're trying to intentionally scare him. That was my only thought.
He was like giving.
He's like, tell this man what's happening
here. Yeah, you calling him the idiot like throughout the show. Like, oh no, the idiot's back, and then all of a sudden he's like coming down the hallway. This could be a play on. It's just, I think we're gonna have to wait and see how heavy the show leans into like these, like the actual sickness of the disorder. Maybe we'll lean into like these just being like actual delusions of his, and like him seeing stuff and not being fully present in the moment. But I think it was just a way to be scary and introduce the god for the first time. I think like presentation wise, it looks really cool. I mean, they made him like 8 feet with the giant bird mask. Like it literally just looks like a giant Slenderman, but wearing mummification rags and a big mask. So yeah, no, I was a fan of that.
I was like, what?
Our YouTube channel just got spammed with some naked HD enough watch stream girls here. So we have people on YouTube reacting to our chat right now. Yeah. So if anybody wants any of those things that I just said about naked HD streams, go over YouTube. There seems like somebody's got a link over there. Sorry, getting back on where we were left off. Khonshu gets introduced. He's walking down the hallway, scares the bejesus out of Mark, Steven, whoever he is. We'll call him Steven for right now. And then where do we see him again? I think we get bus, like right? We get like another hard cut, but this time he's on the bus on his way to work. Yeah. There's like one scene after, I think he goes back up to his apartment after the Khonshu thing, but then there is like a hard cut. Yeah.
He's on the bus.
He's on the bus, and now he's starting to see those people from earlier when he was woken up in the field and he was doing the big gun chase. Now they're following him.
Now he knows he's not dreaming because Dr. Horror was there.
Yep. He did still hold on that whole time, like an inkling of trying to be like, okay, maybe it was a dream, but this pretty much solidifies it for him, where he's like, oh, nope, that's the guy. Goes into the museum. He gets confronted by Mr. Big Bad, Arthur Harrow. Arthur tells him like he can maybe help him, but then he holds his hands like he did for the other folks, and
he's full of chaos.
Yep. And then he sicks a jackal on him.
It's a jackal.
Yeah, Mark's getting off of work and he hears something in the background, and it's like a dog, but then it's actually a jackal.
A jackal.
The jackal chases him down, and we finally get the confrontation when Steven locks himself in a bathroom of the man in the mirror. Mark himself is like, hey, I can help us, but you gotta give in. And Steven is like, still coming to grips with the fact that, not only does he have another personality when he's waking up in the middle of the night and he doesn't remember things, like it's a full-on life. He's trying to digest that, and the fact that he somehow made enemies with a guy who can suck the life out of people and summon jackals. So like there's a little like existential crisis in there, but eventually Steven comes around and gives it over to Mark, and we get an awesome reveal of
the Moon
Knight suit. Yeah, he doesn't put it on. It's like a thing that comes out of his being.
Yeah,
I thought that was an interesting take. I mean, we saw that in the trailers, but I think in the comic books, it's actually like a suit that he puts on, like Batman. But no, it was good. It looks really good.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't expect them to. Actually looking at this, I feel like going forward, we'll probably see a lot more of the suit.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect that much suit action, but I think we're gonna.
Nah, I think that's exactly how a lot of people expected it would play out, where you get Moon Knight right at the end of episode 1.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, in the later episodes, I expect to see a lot more suit action than we initially thought.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when they're doing those cutbacks. If they do end up playing back on what they had done from this episode, like filling in those lost pieces, I think that'll be, we'll see some more. I'm hoping we get some kind of an origin thing, because like his origin story is pretty interesting. It might have to be done.
They have to explain how he got.
Yeah,
Khonshu,
I'm just curious whether it's going to be like a exposition like dump, or if it'll just be like a passing comment, or if we'll actually get like a fully shot out thing of how it happened, with like some flashbacks.
It has to be a full flashback.
You think
I think we said this before. Yeah, I think what they'll do is they'll do all this stuff with the shows, and then when they roll like Moon Knight into the films, you don't have to flashback to who the character is. If you want to know who the character is, you can watch the show, right? So I think they have to at some point flashback and give you this origin of Moon Knight, and then we don't need a Moon Knight origin movie. We just go straight into, whatever that Avengers team is named, and then you have Moon Knight, you have Black Knight, Blade is there, whoever else is going to be part of that new rollout for the teams. I think that's how they'll do it.
Yeah.
And if Brendan Fraser is anywhere near this show, I would be ecstatic.
Brendan Fraser comes in, and that is our official tie-in to make all of those Mummy movies canon.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mummy movies are canon in the MCU. Confirmed.
Yes, and to answer a question, Mahershala Ali is playing Blade in the MCU. So that's been confirmed. So we get a new Blade.
Yep. We'll probably see him sooner than we might think. I think Multiverse of Madness is going to drop a lot of these faces, even if they're just in there for a quick second.
And Mummies Alive comes first.
There you go.
Just to answer another question.
Mummies Alive comes before Moon Knight?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be like a good rollout. So maybe not episode 2, but fully expect like a full origin story for Mercenary Mark. Plus, there's at least one other personality.
It should be. Yeah, we should note that in the comic,
at least one.
In the comic canon, Mark is the real persona. The guy that was holding the gun and then flashes into Steven. He's the true person, at least in the comics. He's the one that made the deal with Khonshu to be like, hey, I'm about to die. Can I get some help? And then Khonshu's like, okay, let me get your body whenever I need it. And that's basically the deal.
But there should be at least one more that's like the player,
Jake,
who is probably the one that asked the girl out to have steak.
Well, actually, in the comics, Stevie is the player. He's like he's the Bruce Wayne, the philanthropist billionaire that goes around sweet talking. He has like, he's the one that makes the suit and the moonerangs and all of the other gadgets. That's Stevie.
And then Jake is the
underground informant who talks to Mr. Street Performer Mime Guy and ends up working with the cops on a bunch of things and then doing like lower level street busts and stuff. But it's basically, he uses that persona to get information for Mark. But yeah, in the comics, there's not like a dopey sidekick persona like Stevie is. So it'll be curious to see if they stick with that or if they develop him into being more confident. Whether they keep Jake, I do think they will. We see a couple things in this episode that hint to the fact of 3 personas. Whether one of them ends up being Khonshu or not, I'm curious about. Whether
I don't
that's
think
the
one
direction.
is Khonshu.
But like in
I
the
think
mirrors,
one is probably Jake.
In the mirrors, you see 3 things of Oscar Isaac standing there, Steven, and then one on the left and one on the right. And it's just the way the mirrors are oriented. You see him when he's walking through the museum. There's like a reflection on one of the panels of glass. You see 2 reflections of Steven again. It definitely, and unless they're trying to be like, oh, the third one's Khonshu, which
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think it's like
unless they totally
TV's like his
deviate.
public facing thing.
Yes,
but they've already deviated from the comics a bit because Amut, the god that Dr. Haro Ahmet, sorry, that's actually like it should be Anubis, and like the scale thing, Ahmet eats the souls that like don't match or that don't outweigh the feather. So there's like it's like a slight deviation from what we expect, but I think that's what the jackal's for, right? Because the jackal should represent Anubis. So here it comes. You get a little something, but I still think they'll do 3 overall personalities that interact differently in the world and have different purposes.
I totally agree. At least I hope they do. That's what I would like to see, and that's what I think they're leaning towards. I think I got all the Easter eggs that I caught. The pyramid with the where he was keeping his stuff, the street performer coming in and making a quick cameo. Unless again they deviate a lot from the comics, that should be a character that we see again, basically being the one that passes information to Jake or Mark, depending on which direction they take that.
What if he passes information to Stevie and Stevie doesn't realize that he's getting information?
Stevie remembers his own day.
Yeah, Stevie remembers his own day. So I'm
the only stuff he's not remembering is when he goes to sleep that we know of.
Yeah, and Mark is taking over. Okay.
Mark is taking over once he passes out, and then staying in control until he doesn't need to be control anymore.
Okay.
What'd you think? First episode live up to the hype?
Yeah, I loved it. To me, it's already like my favorite of the MCU shows. Besides Punisher. Punisher's like the best that they've ever done. But it's right now it's my favorite with of the Loki and WandaVision and
if we're
Captain
just comparing
America.
it to the Disney Plus originals.
Yeah, just comparing it to those. I can already tell it's gonna be great. And no, Khonshu is like I forgot what god Khonshu actually is, but Khonshu is an Egyptian god.
Yeah, Khonshu is an Egyptian god.
Yeah, Thor wise, technically, yeah, but not like he doesn't actually have a form. So he possesses Mark.
Right.
Mark acts as his avatar. That's
a good way to put it.
Explain it.
Yeah.
To explain it.
Yeah, I agree. It did not disappoint me. I think the only thing that I'm disappointed with right now is that there's only 6 episodes. It seems like they're going to be of a pretty high caliber. The CG was all pretty good. The writing and the storytelling and the directing and the cinematography was awesome in this movie. The way that they played with reflections and stuff like that. You could tell that this is a big budget thing for them. This is definitely going to be treated as like the origin for Moon Knight, or like the entry for Moon Knight into the MCU. I think we're going to see his next debut in whatever he ends up being in with Blade and Black Knight by Jon Snow. Will probably be the next time that we see him, but I'm really excited to see these next 5 episodes and see how they flesh out this character. And really, they got a lot of work to do. As far as like, we've gotten a good introduction to Stevie. We still need to get Mark. We need to learn more about his relationship with Khonshu. We need to figure out if there is a third guy, his whole deal. And there's a whole nother personality to this that we haven't even talked about yet called Mr. Knight, which is basically, if you look at any of the promotional materials, it's a dope, like fully white suit, like suit and tie. And then he's got like a mask, white mask pulled over his face, and you can just see his eyes. That's like another persona where I think it's like Mark is just walking around feeling fresh. I would have to see how they like play that off, but it's like, you know, he's not giving away his identity, but it's not like he's
Stevie
walking
becomes
around
Mr. Knight later.
Maybe. Oh my God, that would be an awesome take on it, where instead of making it like Mark just walking around doing like low level street crime dressed as a dude in a suit, they make it Stevie like, I don't know. That would be funny. I would like to see it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see
we
it.
have 5 more episodes, and every episode is like 50 plus minutes long.
Yeah, close to it.
That's plenty of time to, you know, really get this fleshed out before they throw it into the main MCU. So yeah, I think it'll be good.
I'm looking forward to it. I loved this first episode. That's all I gotta say. I don't think I had any criticism of it. I just got to see where it goes. I think it'll be really interesting. We should do an episode after the facts of like the whole series impressions, and it's too early for me to say where I think this is going to stack up. Right now, Loki is still my favorite, but I could see this being my favorite. We just got to see how they play it out, and I hope they don't leave us on a huge cliffhanger. I feel like they might. All right, you ready to debate it up?
Yeah. All
right. So we're trying something new here today. We're going to do a new segment called the CAMEEOS debate, i.e. conflict, arguments, mullings, and elegant exchanges with O'Shaughnessy and Sam. You can thank Samson for that acronym. It's beautiful.
Great with words.
What we're going to try to do here is at the tail end of each of our episodes, we're going to pick a topic and we're going to debate one side or the other. I'll let you guys in the chat or the comments let us know what you think, if either of us are right or if we're totally off base. But who you think is got the right idea more than the other, whose opinion you agree with the most, who is correct and who is an idiot.
I already know I'm going to be an idiot because we're talking about what our most important scene.
Yep, the topic for today is the most important scene of the first episode. Why we think our scene is more important than any other part of the first episode, and you know that can mean moving forward. That can mean in the scope of this episode, but you know, make your case, and we'll debate it. So I think to set some ground rules here, let's do we'll do a minute on the clock. All right. So you get 60 seconds to debate your side, and then we'll do a 30-second rebuttal each. So we'll go debate, rebuttal. And then everybody can let us know who they think knows what they're talking about and who's just a big dum-dum.
I'm gonna let you start because mine sounds stupid. I already know.
All right, I'll give you because this was my idea. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And do you want to time me, or do you want me to time myself?
Go. You can time yourself because I don't feel like setting my stopwatch.
God, that's the laziest shit I've ever heard. All right, I'm incredibly
lazy.
I'm gonna do a countdown. Moving forward, you should time me because I will cheat.
I trust you, man. But that's also how confident I am in the stupidity of my argument.
Mistake. Don't give up. You haven't even started yet. All right.
I'm not giving up, but I'm so confident that I'm going to win. You can take as much time as you need.
Oh, all right. Now it's getting interesting. All right. So I'm going to count it down. I'm going to do 3, 2, 1, go. And then I will start my case for the most important scene of episode 1 of Moon Knight. Let me get my notes.
You're not ready.
I don't have any notes. It's all off the cuff. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. The most important scene of episode 1 is the first scene that we see, and here's why. Arthur Harrow taking the glass and slowly, methodically putting it down, pouring the water in, folding the towel over the top of it, and then smashing it before pouring the glass into his shoes and then stepping on it and walking away is the most important scene because it sets the entire tone for this show moving forward. It is a different take for the MCU, like vastly different than anything that has ever been originally aired on Disney Plus. It brings back like Daredevil and Punisher vibes, which Sam said he likes. It is the first thing. It is your first impression to the show. And you know that moving forward, if there's jokes and giggles and laughs, like a goldfish in a blender is not safe. Nothing's safe. They're willing to let you sit here and watch this guy slowly, painfully walk on glass away. So that is why I think that's the most important scene. That's time.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Give me a 3, 2, 1, and then go.
All right.
And then I will start and I'll
watching.
tell you when to stop, and then we'll do our rebuttals.
All right. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So the most important scene for me is when Stevie realizes that his goldfish is different, because that's like the catalyst for him seeing all these things are not as they seem. So he's actually been living a second life that he didn't know about. He found the cell phone and the little pyramid shaped like mark cache of stuff. He starts to see like he's been moving his desk. He realizes that he lost 2 days of time. What else? He realizes, I think this is the beginning of him realizing he truly was not dreaming. That all these things have actually happened in his life. And this all starts because he noticed that his little goldfish grew a fin. So that's how he gets into like, oh no, stuff has been going on.
Time. Okay. All right. Ready for the rebuttals?
Yeah, you rebuttal.
I'm going to go first. 30 seconds. So much quicker.
Mhm.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. While the goldfish scene is very important, and that is a very much like, hey, audience, it's time. We know that the character is realizing it. That is not the first time that we sort of realize that things are starting to unwind. I would argue that throughout the show, the audience is getting drip fed these little things. And then the goldfish scene is like, you know, what really like, hey, if you're not getting it by now, you need to get it.
Mm.
All right.
Okay.
Time.
All right. So while the glass
Wait,
scene,
you gotta count me down. You gotta count me down.
Oh, what reset? All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So the glass scene, it does set the tone for the episode. So, you know, it's a darker theme, but it doesn't show you anything toward the main character, right? You don't get to see anything about Mark or Stevie or what he's actually going through throughout the show. So the goldfish scene, it gives you that look into like, oh, Mark finally or Stevie finally realizes what's happening to him truly. And
Time. All right. Good stuff. Let us know what you think. Who was more correct about the most important scene? Well, who do you agree with? Whose side are you going to take? Is it going to be Samson with the goldfish or O'Shaughnessy's horrible glass scene? I didn't say favorite. I said most important. So
yes, most
which do you think is going to have the most impact in your eyes?
Yes, I'm super literal.
O'Shaughnessy. That's my yeah, thanks for the proper pronunciation there. That's how it's spelled phonetically. O'Shaughnessy. Awesome. Well, hey, got any closing thoughts, remarks? I think we've touched on it all.
I think my name has confused everyone
I think
as well.
Samson.
It's Samson. I'm from the
Yeah.
streets. This all that matters.
Well, hey,
Think of
everybody,
it that way.
we're gonna be doing this. We're gonna try to do this every Monday. If we can squeeze in some bonus episodes here and there, we definitely will. Like after a new episode of Moon Knight, but definitely be on the lookout for new content from us every Monday. And we'll be covering more than just Moon Knight. I mean, we'll do Moon Knight stuff as well, but I think next week we got to talk
Next week
about
I need
it.
more time.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm losing. I lost the debate.
We need to talk
I
about
need
the
more time.
Sonyverse a little bit. Spoiler alert. Neither of us is
Mobius
going to
is
watch
trash.
Morbius. Yeah, spoiler
Morbius.
alert. You don't need to watch
Absolute-
Morbius. You don't even know the name of the movie. I'm not even mad
Because
about
it's
you
not
not
good.
knowing the name of the movie. I'm not going to see it.
Oh, no.
I do think I need to go watch the Venom movies first, though, but I should be able to do that easily online.
I'm
Before
going
we
to
talk
see it,
about
but
the
I'm not going to waste
Sonyverse,
money on it. I will say that.
just
I'm not
go
spending money on
go read the spoilers online. So we got the Sonyverse coming up. We got to do a little bit of One Piece content because that's why Sam wanted to make this whole channel to begin with. And
Let's talk about One Piece.
then we got Doctor Strange right around the corner.
Yes.
We definitely got to do at least one Doctor Strange thing before it comes out.
And DC versus Marvel.
Yeah.
This is something definitely want to talk about.
Mhm.
The whole verse that they built.
Talk about some universes, Sonyverse, Disneyverse,
And
DCverse,
Warner Brothers verse.
Warnerverse.
Warner verse.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of universes out there. I think we could talk about that for a while, but let us know what you guys want to hear. We're gonna put our stuff out there, and we will catch you guys on the next one. It's been a treat. Leave your cameo in the comments.
Yeah, bing bong.
Bing bong.